All right, welcome to part 3 of the QM3. We're going to finish this guy up and you'll have everything to do. These videos feel long. It's just a lot of discussion. All right. But the math is pretty straightforward once we've had these discussions. So that's why I like to combine these things together. We've got creating and solving equations with variables on both sides. That's our kind of new business here. So let's kind of take a look at this. Right? What we're going to want to do is, what is the goal? To get the variable alone. Okay. It says write and solve an equation to solve each problem. Janine has job offers at 2 companies. One company offers a starting salary of $28,000 with a raise of $3,000 each year. The other company offers a starting salary of $36,000 with a raise of $2,000 each year. In how many years would Janine's salary be the same with both companies? And so there's 2 questions here, 2 question marks. And what will the salary be? We have 2 things to look at here. What we need to know, we got company A, right? Company A is our first one. And this says $28,000 a year plus $3,000 per year. We're going to call years, I guess they used N, and that's fine. Okay. And company B says you start at $36,000, but you only had $2,000 each year. So we're going to say N, we're going to say N represents the number of years that it takes for the salaries to be equal. And so what we're saying is, when does company A salary equal company B salary? And what I just said out loud is how you write this. When does A equal B? And that's when 28,000 plus 3,000 N equals 36,000 plus 2,000 N. And that's how we do this. From here, we want to gather the like terms. Okay. What I'm going to do, and they show you here, they subtract 2,000 from both 2,000 N from both sides because you want the N's on one side and the number on the other so you can solve. If you subtract 2,000 N, you get 28,000 plus 1,000 N equals 36,000. And then you got to get rid of the 28,000. So what do? Subtract it from both sides. You get 1,000 N equals 8,000. Divide both by 1,000, N equals 8. 8. So here's the important question. We know, what does N equal 8 mean? 8 is 8 years. In 8 years, they will be equal. But that's not the only question they asked. They also said, what will the salary be? How do we do that? We plug it back into one of them, or in this case, both of them, because they're equal. If I plug N back in, 28,000 plus 3,000 times 8. This is 28,000 plus 24,000, which is 52,000. On the right, we have 36,000 plus 2,000 times 8. 36,000 plus 16,000 is 52,000. So yes, they equal, and the amount that they would be equal at is 52,000. So that's why we say in 8 years, the salaries offered by both companies will be 52,000. This question is not saying after 10 years, what's better for the person. This is just saying what happens when they're equal. Big key difference there. We'll get to those later. We have another example here. One moving company charges $800 plus 16 per hour. Another moving company charges $720 plus $21 per hour. At what number of hours will the charge by both companies be the same? One question. And then, what is that charge? Right here. Write a verbal description matching the situation. It's when does A, moving company A, equal moving company B? Well, what's moving company A? It's 800 plus 16 per hour. We're going to call T the number of hours. I think they're getting at time. Really creative, right? So 800 plus 16T. When is that the same as 720 plus 21T? Okay, I don't like boxes, so I'm going to write this over here. 800 plus 16T equals 720 plus 21T. Now, what they have done, if you're watching here, they're subtracting from the left. And here's why that they do that. If I don't, I'm going to get a negative number for the T value. Everything's going to work out the same, but it might look a little funny. I'm going to show you the little funny business here. I'm going to move my T's to the left side. To do that, I'm going to subtract Going to subtract 21t from both sides. And when I do this, this is 800 minus 5t equals 720. I got to get the t by itself. So I'm going to subtract 800 from both sides. I'm going to get negative 5t equals negative 80. And here's the beauty of this. We know this should be a positive number, right? It's never going to take a moving company a negative number of hours to get everything done. We don't know about time travel yet. If we did, hold on. If I discovered time travel, I'll be right next to me right now. Okay, I was a little worried about that for a second. Okay, but we're good to go here. All right, so divide both sides by negative 5. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. Again, these were zeros. This simplifies to 1. T equals positive 16. Yay! 16 what? Well, first of all, we know the charges are the same for a job that takes 16 hours, but we also have to find what is the cost. So we got to plug 16 back in to these values here. Let's go ahead and do this here. We've got 16 that we're plugging in for T. We got 16 times 16 or 21 times 16. Let's go ahead. I'm going to do that right over here. 16 times 16. 6 times 6, 36. Got a 0 here because I'm starting in the 10 spot. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. This is 200. And what did I just do? I wrote the wrong number down. 226. So that would give me a total of 1,026. Let's double check here. 21 times 16. If I do that, 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. I've got a 0 that I'm going to bring down. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 336. Oh, did I just goof this one up? Yes, I did. For you eagle-eyed viewers, what did I do? I forgot to add the 3 over here. This is actually 96 plus 160. So this is actually 256. I knew that going into it because I know my 16s a little bit, and I'm sorry. So this is 1,056. And this side's also 1,056. So after 16 hours, see, even I make mistakes. It's okay. But what I noticed is, what did I notice? I noticed that my numbers weren't going to be equal, so I made a goof. So I had to go back and check that. So now that you've seen that, yes, sometimes I make mistakes. That's okay. So after 16 hours, the moving charge for both companies is $1,056. Now, this is the answer. This is the answer. It's not 16 and 1,056. Okay, it is very specifically after 16 hours, the moving charge for both companies will be 1,056. All right. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. What we're going to do here is you're going to pause it, do both 7 and 8. Okay, and when you come back, I'm going to do 7, and you're going to check 8 in your teacher's edition guided notes. If you do have questions, we can go through it, but I'm just going to do 7 with you. So go ahead and pause. Staring into a camera. Okay, hopefully you paused. Let's look at it now. It says Claire bought just enough fencing to enclose either a rectangular garden or a triangular garden as shown. The two gardens have the same perimeter. In other words, the same distance all the way around. How many feet of fencing did she buy? Well, let's go ahead. Let's look at the perimeter on this rectangle. I know that this side is also x minus 3 and this side is 3x minus 3. In other words, perimeter is going to be 2 times the width plus 2 times the length. So 2 times x minus 3 plus 2 times 3x minus 3. And that is the perimeter for the rectangle. The perimeter for the triangle should be equal, and I just need to add my way around. Well, this is 2x on the bottom, and I've got 2 times this 2x plus 1. 2 times 2x minus 1. Ooh, lots of distribution, but we can do it because we're going to take it one step at a time. If we distribute through here, 2 times x is 2x. 2 times -3, or 2 in there, 2 plus -3, 2x minus 6. If I distribute through here, this becomes plus 6x minus 6. On the right-hand side, this 2x stays, but I distribute through here and here, plus 4x minus 2. Now, here's what we're going to do before we do some moving around. Gather the like terms, or collect like terms. So anything with an x over here, positive 2x, positive 6x is 8x. Minus 6, so minus 12, or negative 6 and negative 6. On the right-hand side, I've got 6x minus 2. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that I have positive numbers this time. I like working with positive numbers for the most part. What I'm going to do is, which side has more x's? 8x. I've got 8x here, 6x here. I'm going to subtract the smaller number from both sides. This gives me 2x minus 12 equals -2. I'm also going to take up some room over here. So this is, again, this is the one that you're doing. So I'm going to work over here now. This one says 2x minus 12 equals -2. I am going to add 12 to both sides. 2x equals 10, divide by 2, and x equals 5. Yay, x equals 5. In this case, 5 means absolutely nothing. Why is that? Because the question is only asking one thing. How many feet of fencing did she buy? We got to plug that x in and see what we get. I'm going to not cheat a little bit, but I'm just going to look at the triangle. I've got fewer things here. 2 times 5 plus 2 times 5 minus 1. If I simplify this, this becomes 10 plus, inside this is 10 minus 1, which is 9. Let me undo the little dot I just made. 10 minus 1 is 9, times 2 is 18. 10 plus 18 is 28. So in other words, I wrote really big, I know. I wrote really big. She bought 28 feet of fence. Okay. Now, 3 is just basically the same thing that we've been doing, talking about tables, and that's okay. We're going to kind of not do that part in this way. We're going to kind of work through that when we do our problems. What I need you guys to do now, this is the end of QM3 guided notes. I know there's 3 parts, and I appreciate you guys being patient with me. So now that we got that, go ahead, take a look at the problems and the questions for this, and we'll make sure we have enough time to work on those. Hope you're doing well. Have a great night.